Hi, this video is for Wednesday, the 18th of November, and I'm doing it retrospectively. So I'm actually doing it on Thursday, the 19th of November. Yesterday, I had a lot of interventions. I had a lot of dental work yesterday, and I just wasn't up to doing a video. I just chose to rest and relax. And so hence I'm doing it today when I'm feeling better. Had some mercury taken out yesterday and that felt really good. I will put a link on here, which is an interactive tooth chart. So you can check out how each tooth is connected to a meridian in the body and what part of the body that's connected to, and also the emotions. So you can see what's going on with the body, because the body does not lie. The body doesn't have coping mechanisms and mind control and denial. So it's the easiest way to see what's actually going on in our bodies emotionally, in our lives emotionally, even though our mind may have developed a coping mechanism to say, no, we're okay, we're all right. Repress. By the time it gets into the body, there's been a lot of repression. So it's ideal if we can be proactive and empowered in this work. And that's what Wednesday, the 18th of November's energy was all about. So Sun in Scorpio and the moon waxing had gone into Capricorn. And here we are on the chart. So we're at day 13. So day 13s are always about the shift. And the 13 number in the Mayan wave spell is so key energetically, because it's the number that allows us to move. Whereas when we're on the number of 12, the Gregorian calendar, any 12-step program is a very different experience to a 13-step program. So 12 signs in the zodiac, we are the 13th energy that can make the shift. That's what I offer you. So this process of white wind to white wizard is all about embodiment of the spirit and the process. And so for me, this took me from becoming a mum to the bank crash in 2008. And so from my early 30s to my early 40s. And the process of awakening that I went on in every area of my life. And this is what I offer you. If you're watching this, then you're a person who is different to maybe mainstream person, is looking to do the inner work, make the change, be the skywalker, the human being who's ready to make that shift around the story. And it is all about the story. So again, a friend of mine who I've worked with quite a lot over the past 9 months in different ways, we had a conversation about this. And the older that we get, the more that we focus on the past. Of course, we've got experience, we've got life experience. So when I was 29, I didn't have a huge amount of life experience, and I had no experience of being a mum. And once you've given birth to a child, once you've looked after a young being, maybe not even a blood relative, but once you've looked after a very, very young child and they are dependent on you for their survival, it can create a very different human being experience, because then there's a whole shift around responsibility and really putting another being before yourself, because they demand it as well. They demand all of your care and attention. And of course, this isn't always met for a lot of human beings. And this is also a core cause of our wounding, and understanding that. So this isn't about blame. This is about understanding. And understanding of the past, starting to look at the bigger picture, looking for information, looking for causality is absolutely key to the person who wants to understand and who wants to keep the wisdom of the ancestors, much of which has been lost in today's society, and heal the harm that was done either through ignorance or through survival necessity or through sometimes malevolence. And this is so key to what's going on the planet now, is understanding these models around what creates sociopathic people, what creates psychopathic people, because they have a very different mindset to people who don't have those personality disorders. And it's very key to understand, because trying to put your own mindset onto their behavior does not apply. So again, if we look throughout history, we will see this playing out in the story. So the more we know about the past, because this is where we formed all our patterns, this is where they've all come from. It's not about living in the past, though. It's about exploring it, getting information about it, becoming aware. So becoming aware of history, human history, is a really good idea at the moment. Get the facts if we can. Be discerning, be diligent, have a look at what created what is going on the world stage today. And most importantly, what has been going on for ourselves. We began a 13-year cycle in White Wizard in 2019. So we're in the second year of it now. So we've got 13 years to really become very familiar with this energy. And it follows on from the previous 13 years, which was Red Moon, which began in 2006. So remember, these cycles, these are what all the colours are. Red is awakening, white is refining, blue is transforming, and yellow is a manifestation. Green only appears in this 260-day format. It's the fifth castle. It's the overtone. It's the mastery of all of these. So on the planet, we're building now, we're refining what began in 2006 in July, back then. So again, if you create a document for yourself, a diary, an online PDF is what I do for myself, and I'm in the process of creating some ebooks that I'm hoping will be really useful to people wanting to do this exercise. Then you can correlate your own journey and you can see how you are building on the people who came before you. It's all the same story. We're all working through the same basic principles of evolving into becoming conscious human beings who are very aware of what creates trauma and suffering for human beings, and so that we don't do it anymore. So yeah, that's going to take a while, but one of the key things that's different about this approach as well is focusing on the shadow. It's focusing on the pathology with the intention of healing it. So the more we focus on the past and we go over the past, we understand the story, and we start to heal it using emotional freedom technique is the way that I've learned how to do it. We heal those stories, we become free of those stories. We don't hold the emotion anymore. We start to change the mindset. We start to change the belief systems, and we start to change the behaviours. And once we really understand this process, we also understand why there are no quick fixes around this. This is complex and it involves lots of different areas of our life. if, for example, we've had an experience in the past when we were very young and we were in a situation with somebody that we trusted, that we looked up to, and they bullied us. And so maybe we tried to speak up for ourselves, and maybe they responded back with lots of emotion and shouted at us, or did something, you know, that maybe shocked us to the core of our being, that we'd never seen them behave in this way. So at that point, that could cause a real crisis in confidence and faith and trust for that person, you know, for us, with that other human being. And it may set in motion a fear of speaking up and speaking out that may last a very, very long time until that person, until I decided to do something about it. And I remember all the times for myself personally where sometimes I just burst into tears, you know, if somebody confronted me. And yet in other areas, I could stand up for myself and I could be quite eloquent. So again, it's exploring all of these and what is the reason underneath it. And most importantly, is to heal it so we don't stay stuck in it our whole life and keep repeating this wounding story. So this is a real dynamic process. With something like emotional freedom technique, if a person has the determination to do whatever it takes to heal this and learn different behavior, it is absolutely possible, and it doesn't need to take a long time either. We have the power within us. And now is the time for people to do this work. It's all aligned. So back to today's energy. So White Wizard is the 14th Mayan sign. Okay, so she's here. So she is one of the mastery set, the 7 mastery signs, archetypes. And her planets are the Asteroid Belt. So when we started this process, this was back on the 30th of March. So the first one we had Red Dragon. So if you think what was happening for you then, so beginning of April, and then we went into White Wizard. And so we were refining, so in the UK, the beginning of the lockdown. And so that's what we're revisiting really. And perfectly aligned, everything that happened. This is what always blows me away. Of course it's perfectly aligned. It's designed that way. It's a human evolution process that we're in now. So think back to April and what you were going through then, all this new, really challenging stuff happening, lockdown, can't go anywhere, and everything that brought up for you then. And then move forward to today. Okay, so over this period of time, what needs to shift for you? Because right now we're in the very last energies of Scorpio. So on the 21st, we go into Sagittarius energy. So we go into the gateway time, the 9th astrological sign. And so gateway point, new stars are made in Sagittarius. And we've got this waxing energy, of course. Capricorn, 11 degrees, was at 11 o'clock on Wednesday, the 18th of November. And inside degrees, I will put this under the video. A young boy joyously kisses a fat old lady. Polarities go against each other in order to find each other again. When they are still busy going against each other, they pull you apart. And this experience is so definitive, so intensive, and so traumatic that you learn to bring the polarities back together any way you can. The journey to make this possible is an extensive one, because along the way you must mediate between discrimination and release. You're walking a collective karmic edge between the old and the new, in which both of them must be honoured in just the right ways. Yet the work it takes to bring polarities together in fresh ways is monumental. And that work is utterly redemptive, of infinite meaning and scope, in opening doors and letting totality in by conviction, by affinity, and by surrender to the great inevitable. So we're in this process, whether we like it or not. What's it bringing up for us? That's the key. Ishtar, renewal. May I allow the joyful power of Ishtar to move through me, so I may celebrate my place in the world with confidence and strength. Lovely. Okay, so again, White Wizard, the moon goddess Ixchel, Google her, the midwife, all about letting the magic flow through us rather than thinking we have to create it. Just get with a program, do what we love, clear the wounding, stop doing the behaviour that hurts us, and start to see things differently and align with health. So instead of aligning with things that are toxic to us in every way, start to align with health. So the card harmonic resonance, integration, that's what Scorpio is all about. Heal through feeling. And so we've got peace, the Two of Swords. So again, I'll put links on for this, just to give you a snapshot. So again, it's the usual EliTarotStrikingly.com. The moon is in Libra. So again, coming into balance with the shadow, peace of mind, two issues, relationships, choices, or situations have been or are being integrated at a subconscious level, soon to be experienced outwardly. A temporary balance and feeling of release from captivity, affirming a new belief or lifestyle, expanding opinions and communication, a necessary respite before a change in an attempt to gain a mental balance. So making peace and suspending judgment. And so again, I'm taking lots of action at the moment around my health and doing what I need to do to rest and rejuvenate and work through all the issues that are coming up for me at the moment around not being able to vent my spleen at times, putting up with bullshit, having to go along with so many things that I don't agree with, and try and be diplomatic with other people who have a different opinion. So highly recommended is EFT, to tap as you're really feeling your feelings. And so when you're tapping on your own or in a group where you can trust people and it's in confidence, then you're not actually needing to argue with anybody, and you can speak your truth and you can heal it all. So you can let your anger come up, your frustration, and you can release it. Check EFT out. It's an amazing therapy, and I just love sharing it because if you really take it on board, it will change your life. It's fantastic. So I hope you've had a real shift over the 13 days of that process, and you've got some clear insights. You can see where your patterns are coming up again. You can see where you feel blocked, where you feel disempowered, and then just follow that cosmic cookie trail back to its source. This is the key. What story created that? Where did that come from for me? What happened to me? And again, just remembering how powerful it is when we're children of how we model other people's behaviours. And, you know, because our parents are gods and goddesses, aren't they, in some way, because they hold so much power. But often we model their behaviour, and it's only later on when we look back that we realise all of that was unconscious. You know, because we didn't have the intellect or the understanding at a very young age to be discerning. So we can start to really integrate that behaviour now, see what is serving us and see what isn't serving us, and see what feels like it's coming from a place of honesty and integrity, free of the ego mask. Lots of love. And if you want any more information, my website is flowwithjo.com. See you soon.